Shadows of the Forgotten Realm. In the misty valleys of Eldoria, where ancient peaks loomed like silent sentinels and fog draped the landscape in a veil of enigma, nestled the village of Shadowbrook. This secluded hamlet was a sanctuary of forgotten lore, its stone cottages cloaked in ivy that clung to weathered walls, their roofs sagging under the weight of time. The air carried the faint rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of a stream. Once vibrant, but now reduced to a trickle by an encroaching curse, the people of Shadowbrook were keepers of tales, stories of lost kingdoms, heroic deeds, and mystical artifacts, passed down through generations around the crackling fires. Yet, a shadow had fallen over their lives, dimming the stars above and withering the once lush harvests into brittle husks. This blight, they believed, stemmed from the Forbidden Realm, a labyrinthine expanse of crumbling temples and enchanted mists hidden beyond the village's borders, where an artifact of immense power lay dormant, its neglect fueling the curse. Elara, a young scholar with a spirit as unyielding as the mountains, had grown up amidst this fading glory. Orphaned by the curse's initial surge, a night when a black storm swallowed the sky and claimed her parents, she was taken in by Master Thorne, the village archivist. Thorne was a stooped figure, with a mane of silver hair and eyes that gleamed with the wisdom of ages, his hands stained with ink from transcribing ancient scrolls. Under his tutelage, Elara learned the art of storytelling, discovering how narratives could heal wounds and uncover truths. Her eyes, sharp and dark as raven feathers, reflected a thirst for knowledge that drove her to spend nights poring over dusty tomes by the flicker of a candle. The realm isn't lost, she would assert, her voice firm despite Thorne's cautions. It's waiting to be remembered. The archivist, his voice heavy with experience, warned her of the perils, illusions that twisted cherished memories into torment, shadowy guardians that fed on doubt, and a heart of oblivion that erased those who faltered. Yet, Elara's determination only deepened, fueled by a desire to reclaim her heritage. One harvest moon, when the curse tightened its grip, a village teetered on the brink. The sky turned an unnatural shade of gray, blotting out the moon's glow, and the rivers thickened to ink, their waters unfit to drink. Crops failed entirely, leaving granaries empty, and the children's laughter faded into the silence of hunger. Master Thorne called a gathering beneath the ancient oak at the village square, his voice trembling as he spoke of endurance, but his gaze betrayed a flicker of despair. Elara, seated among the somber crowd, felt a fire ignite within her. She had uncovered fragments of a map in Thorne's archives, pieced together from tattered scrolls, hinting at the Crystal of Echoes, a gem said to hold the realm's collective memories. Convinced it was the key to breaking the curse, she resolved to act. That evening, as the village slept, she gathered her courage, clutching a lantern etched with runes of clarity and the fragile map, and slipped toward the Forbidden Realm's thorny archway. The entrance loomed like a gateway to another world, its vines pulsing with a faint ominous light that cast eerie shadows on the ground. The air grew thick with mist, carrying the scent of damp earth and decay, and whispers began, soft at first, like the rustle of leaves, then insistent, echoing voices of the forgotten. We fade, recall us. Elara tightened her grip on the lantern, its warm glow a fragile shield against the darkness, and stepped forward. The realm unfolded before her, a maze of crumbling temples overgrown with moss, their stones etched with faded runes, trees twisted into grotesque shapes, their branches clawing at the sky, and the ground beneath her feet felt alive, shifting with each step. As she ventured deeper, the realm awakened. Shadows coalesced into spectral figures, ancient kings in tattered robes, scholars with hollow eyes, reciting tales of betrayal, lost loves, and forgotten victories. Vines of memory lashed out, forcing Elara to relive her parents' final moments. Their desperate cries as the storm engulfed their home, the warmth of their embrace fading into cold silence. Grief surged, threatening to overwhelm her, and the ground shifted. ants dissolving into voids that whispered her name. Terror gripped her heart, her breath shallow, but she clung to Thorne's teachings. Stories of bridges over darkness, he had said. Drawn on that wisdom, she pressed on, her voice reciting fragments of village lore to steady her resolve. Hours bled into an endless night, the lantern's flame flickering with each gust of wind. The whispers grew louder, weaving a tapestry of her fears. Abandonment by her village, failure to save them, the weight of a legacy she might never fulfill. Yet, amid the chaos, a memory surfaced. Thorne singing an old ballad of resilience, its melody a lifeline in her darkest hours. With renewed determination, she navigated the shifting paths, her footsteps guided by the map's faint lines. Deeper in the realm's core, she stumbled into a vast chamber bathed in ethereal light, its walls adorned with murals of a golden age. At its center stood the Crystal of Echoes, a shimmering gem atop a pedestal, its surface fractured, leaking tendrils of shadow that writhed like living things. The whispers crescendoed, no longer threats, but a chorus of pleas. The crystal held the realm's memories, shattered by centuries of neglect, its power draining the land. Elara approached, her heart pounding, and touched the crystal. A flood of visions engulfed her mind. Empires rising with banners unfurled, falling under siege. Lovers parting with tearful vows, reunited in secret. Scholars preserving wisdom as flames consumed their libraries. Amid the sorrow, glimmers of hope emerged. Acts of kindness amidst war. A child's laughter piercing despair. A warrior laying down arms for peace. The realm wasn't cursed by malice. It suffered from oblivion, its memories yearning for restoration. With trembling hands, Elara began to recite the village's oldest tales, weaving them like threads to mend the fractures. She spoke of Shadowbrook's founding, of heroes who defied odds, of Elara's own parents' love for their daughter. Her voice rose, a melody of remembrance, and the crystal responded. Its glow intensified, mending the cracks, and a wave of light surged outward, rippling through the chamber. Shadows retreated like smoke, vines bloomed into vibrant flowers, and the air cleared, carrying the scent of rain. The ground steadied, and the sky beyond the realm's edge brightened, stars piercing the gray. Exhausted but triumphant, Elara plucked a shard of the crystal, its white a beacon in her hand, and turned back, the realm's whispers softening into grateful echoes. Emerging at dawn, the first rays painting the mountains gold, Elara was greeted by gasps from Shadowbrook's villagers. She held the shard aloft, its glow illuminating her tear-streaked face. Rain fell gently, nourishing the parched fields, and the inky rivers began to clear, their waters sparkling in the sunrise. Thorne rushed to her, his eyes wet with pride, embracing her. "You've brought us back," he whispered. The Forbidden Realm, once a source of terror, transformed into a sanctuary, its paths now welcoming those seeking wisdom. Its echoes now tales of inspiration. Shadowbrook flourished anew. Fields swelled with grain, children danced by the reborn stream, and the village square buzzed with shared stories. Elara became a guardian of the realm, leading expeditions to document its history, her shard a symbol of restored memory. She established a council with Thorne, preserving the village's legacy and teaching the young to value their past. Festivals arose, celebrating the Crystal of Echoes with music and dance, honoring Elara's courage and the realm's renewal. Years later, as Elara aged, her hair silvered but her spirit undimmed, she faced a new challenge. A neighboring village, struck by a similar blight, sought her aid. With Thorne's blessing, she journeyed forth, carrying a new map and a seed of hope. The trek was grueling, through dense forests and over rugged hills, but her faith held firm. When the first crystal shard glowed in foreign soil, rain followed, and the villagers wept with gratitude. Her legend grew. A beacon across Eldoria. In her final days, Elara returned to the realm, now a place of quiet beauty, its temples adorned with flowers. One autumn evening, as leaves turned crimson and the mountains glowed with sunset, she sat beneath the Crystal of Echoes, its light still pulsing. She sang an old ballad, her voice carrying over Shadowbrook, and as she closed her eyes, the realm hummed in harmony. The villagers gathered below felt a warmth spread through them, knowing Elara's courage had planted seeds of memory that would endure. The tale of Elara and the Forgotten Realm lived on, a story of a scholar who turned shadows into light, whispered in every corner of Eldoria. Travelers visited the realm, leaving offerings, stones, scrolls, songs, creating a shrine to memory's power. Her legacy inspired others to seek their own truths, proving that even in the darkest oblivion, remembrance could bloom anew.